Frog the Jam, definitely a pretty broken Yu-Gi-Oh card. That's why he's not included in any of the cards. It has to say except Frog the Jam. But all jokes aside, boys, realistically, there are so many broken anime cards, and some of them I might not know of, so keep in mind that when I made this list, I also got some of your guys' feedback, but there might be some other cards that we can include in like a part 2, because there's so many crazy anime cards. But first off, let's get started. So anyways, first off, keep in mind that some of these cards are the anime version of the card, so they have different effects than the actual one. We're here to go and check them out. Maybe we can do some anime duels in the future, but there are a ton of really broken cards. So let's go ahead and check them out and talk a little bit about them. So anyways, the first card is Crush Card Virus that I want to go over. And by the way, this is not in any particular order. Maybe we'll make a top 10 when some of you guys can help me out with this list. Because like I said, there's so many anime cards that I might not be aware of. So comment down below if I missed out on any really broken ones, and I'll like make like a part 2 of this vid. But anyways, Crush Card Virus. So this is the anime effect. So you activate only when a dark monster with 1,000 or less attack is destroyed by battle from your side of the field. Your opponent destroys all monsters with 1,500 attack or more on their side of the field and in their hand and in their deck. And the damage calculation is applied normally. And then those monsters cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. This card, if this card is not in your graveyard, negate this effect. But that is crazy though. That you can destroy everything in their entire deck. Oh wow, it's crazy. Like obviously the real Crush card, it doesn't have that effect where it destroys all their monsters in their deck. That's insane. Again, these are broken cards, so yeah, they have to be good. Now the next one up is the Orichalcos Giga. So it has its question mark for the attribute. I guess it's unknown. But anyways, this guy over here says, when this card is destroyed, you could just special summon it immediately, but it cannot attack for the rest of this turn. And then, when special by its own effect, you skip your next draw phase. And then this card gains 500 attack times the number of times it was special summoned by its own effect during this duel. Now, I know that this card is probably not super broken these days, but keep in mind, these are broken inherently, like when they were designed. But at the same time, like looking at some of these cards now, I mean, you could just Castell this, you can bounce it back to the deck or bounce it back, you know, via just banishing it, I guess, would also be pretty good. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It can keep on coming back and it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So that is kind of interesting, but that is a really broken card. Again, keep in mind, some of these were at the time really broken. Next up, we got a really interesting card. So many effects on the Golden Castle of Stormberg. So anyways, it is a field spell that says during each of your standby phases, send half of the cards in your deck to the graveyard if you cannot destroy this card. Then it says once per turn during your main phase, special summon one random level 4 or lower monster from your deck in face of attack person. You cannot normal summon or set monsters. All special summon monsters by this card's effects, and all monsters your opponent control must attack if able. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you destroy that monster and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the monster's attack. Then it says this card cannot be destroyed by the effects of other spells, traps, or effect monsters. So I guess Castell is like the answer to everything. And then what's interesting with this, it says your opponent must pay this card's maintenance cost. So you would actually make it so your opponent, I believe, that's the maintenance cost, is to send half of the cards. But what's funny with this is, this day and age, that would actually help them, more than likely. I mean, some decks obviously can't use cards of the graveyard, but most decks at this point, they have cards effects where it's like banish from your grave to do something, you know. But that is really crazy. And it can't be destroyed. Again, Castell, it beats this card, but really crazy effects, pretty broken. And then when your opponent declares an attack, you just get to just burn them and it destroys it. Crazy. This is probably one of the top, I would say it's a top 10. But again, keep in mind, this is not in any order, but we can make a top 10 if you guys are down. But like I said, I'll have to probably make a part 2 because some of the cards, some of them aren't even cards technically because they're used in like the old like comics, but we'll get into that in a second. Anyways, next up is the animated version of Divine Serpent Ga. So it's a level 10 dark reptile. And it cannot be normal summon or set. It cannot be special summoned except by this certain effect. But we're here for the real effect. But anyways, when this card is summoned, your life points become 0. This card gains infinite attack. This card cannot declare an attack unless you send the top 10 cards of your deck to the graveyard. While you control this card, you cannot lose the duel. But the thing is, again, Castell, bounce back. It's not really immune to very many things. But I guess it's kind of immune to being destroyed by battle unless it moves to defense position. But it does have 0 defense because it doesn't gain defense. But that's pretty interesting. It does, again, it's a broken card. It breaks the game because you have 0 life points. And on top of that, you can't lose duel, which you're supposed to lose when you have 0 life points. And next up, interesting, pretty self-explanatory card, the Mischiefs of the Time Goddess. So it just says skip 1 turn to your turn's battle phase. So I guess this card is like, what was that card? Bad weather. There was a play a long time ago where you're able to. It was like bad weather report, but you can have like 2 battle phase type. It's like impossible to pull off. It is legal, but this card is way better. Just go straight to your turn's battle phase. Pretty crazy stuff indeed. Next up, this kind of again, it's one of those like kind of breaking the games, but. Anyways, Infernity 0. So this card cannot be normal summon or set, cannot be special summoned by except by its own effect. When an opponent activates a card or effect that would inflict damage, while your life points are 2,000 or less, you can discard all other cards in your hand to special summon this card from your hand. You do not lose the duel, even if your life points become 0. If you have no cards in your hand, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. For each time you take damage, place 1 death count on it. When there's 3 of them, you on this card, you destroy it. So interesting. It kind of breaks the game. Not necessarily broken as an OP, but again, it's just one of the cards that we discussed that kind of broke the game. I don't think he's very good though, but at the same time, because I thought it was gonna say that when there's 3 counters, you win the duel, but you just destroy it. Interesting card. Again, it's just one of the broken cards, but it's not like OP broken. But anyways, next up, Spell Sanctuary. Really interesting continuous spell card. It says, when you activate this card, each player can pull 1 spell card from their deck and add it to their hand. While this card is face up on the field, players can activate spell cards on their opponent's turn. So that's pretty broken, obviously. I wonder if that's like a quick effect. Like you can respond to things, if it makes everything become quick play. Or how does that actually work? I don't know. You guys can let me know. How did it work in the anime? I didn't see that episode. But definitely kind of breaks game mechanics. Next up, we got the Earthbound Immortal Bird. We'll call it the bird. Anyways, it's a this is the anime effect, by the way. The real card I don't think has this effect. But anyway, while this card is face up on the field, Earthbound Immortal monsters cannot be summoned. If there's no face up field spell card on the field, the following effects are negated, and this card is destroyed during the end phase. But this card can attack your opponent directly. This card cannot be attacked by your opponent's monsters. And then, the main effect that makes it really good is it's unaffected by the effects of your opponent's spell and traps. And then once per turn, by skipping the battle phase, you can reduce your opponent's life points to 1. Kind of a weird number, and I like how it also has 1 attack and defense. But yeah, I mean, you could like Ukazi, you can cowboy someone for game. Definitely pretty crazy. I wonder, you know, we need to do some anime duels. We'll have to go through some of the lists of some of the cards on there. Because I was looking at some of the cards, and some of them, they didn't exist in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. But maybe they'll be added in the future. I know there is a lot of these anime cards. But next up, this card is called Neuron Exceed Revision. So anyways, it's a counter trap card that says, when your opponent would exceed summon a monster, if there are no other cards in your monster zone and spell and trap zone, you get to negate the summon, destroy that monster, and then choose 1 monster in your opponent's deck and special summon it to their side of the field, and its effects are negated. Now, again, it's just kind of one of those like crazy broken cards, because some cards your opponent actually wants in their deck. But I guess you could like summon something that like they would want to draw, like a Maxi, and you can just attack and do it. Again, it's just kind of one of like the insane cards. Not the best card, but it is just one of those like crazy, like broken, like game mechanic cards that you can force them to special summon something. And it negates their effects. That's important too. Yeah, because I'm not sure if there's very many cards, but I'm sure that there are some cards where they have like 0 attack, or they have a question mark attack, which actually does become 0 essentially because it's unknown. Like a Tragodia, if you're skill drainer, or if it's Veilered, it's 0. But anyways, yeah, pretty interesting stuff indeed. But anyways, next up, oh wait, we already went over the golden. I think I opened this one up twice, so we already went over this card. Definitely a broken card. Okay, and this next one up is actually Obelisk, but I had to go open up this page. You guys know what Obelisk looks like, but anyways, the anime effect is what we're here for. So get ready, guys, because I'm about to read a really long story for you guys. So anyways, it requires 3 tributes to normal summon are set. This card's normal summon can't be negated, and then when this card is summoned, cards and effects of non-spell trap or non-divine monsters cannot be activated. Spell monster cards effects affect this card only until the end phase, but this card cannot be destroyed or sent to the hand due to spell monster card effects, except the effect from the Winged Dragon of Ra. Trap cards cannot affect this card directly, except for altering the attack and defense of this card from or from preventing this card from attacking only until the end phase. While face up on the field, this card is also warrior type. Control of this card cannot switch. Cards cannot be equipped to this card during the end phase. When this card is special summoned, return it. This card, where this card was special summoned except from the hand. Sorry, my reading is 2 out of 10, I know. But the wording on it is weird, you guys gotta admit. Anyways, if this card is special summoned in face-up defense position, when an opponent monster declares an attack that would target this card instead. If this card is special summoned in face-up defense position, when a monster on your side of the field would be affected by a card effect that would affect this card instead, your opponent cannot... What the heck? Your opponent cannot tribute this card during your main phase. You contribute 2 monsters to destroy all monsters your opponent controls and attack opponent directly. This card cannot declare an attack the turn this effect is activated. During your or your opponent's battle phase, you contribute 2 monsters to make this card's attack become infinity for 1 attack only. Again, apologize for my reading comprehension, but the way it's worded, I don't know. It's pretty weird. But I remember going up against this card. I'll link the video down below. I played against this guy, and he summoned this, and like I didn't know what to do. It was broken. They actually have several different video game effects, but nonetheless, it was pretty broken. I remember I played against it, and like I couldn't get rid of the card. But anyways, and then also the Winged Dragon Raw is also apparently really broken, but I couldn't find the card. I tried to look at it in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro to see if they had it. I couldn't find it in that application, but apparently that one's also broken. Someone can link me that. We can cover it on the second part of this. But anyways, next up, the Seal of Orichalcos. Again, this is the anime effect because it's different from the actual effect. But here is the anime effect. So all monsters you control gain 500 attack. This card cannot be destroyed or be negated by card effects. Your spell and trap zones are also treated as monster card zone. Monsters in your spell and trap zones cannot be selected as attack targets unless your original monster card zones are unused. During your main phase, you can move monsters from your original monster card zones to your unused spell and trap card zones, and vice versa. When this card is activated, destroy all cards you control that list the Eye of Timaeus, the Clive of Hermos, the Fang of Critias in their text, and return any other cards listed in their card text to the field. But again, I guess you can like, oh, Heavy Storm is banned. Was that the localized tornado? I think is what's called. You gotta pop 2. That'd be pretty good. You gotta pop monsters with that card. But again, this is kind of just again a broken card that kind of breaks game mechanic more than it is like broken OP. But nonetheless, it was a pretty cool and famous card. Next up, Ragnarok. Interesting card. So activate only while there are any 2 of Dark Sage, Dark Magician, or Magician of Black Chaos on the field. Remove and play all monsters from your hand, deck, and graveyard. Destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field. This one is here because with no monsters left on the field, with Dark Magician, you sack directly for game. That one was just kind of a meme that you guys, I know you guys would love like that. So I'll throw it in here. I don't really think it's broken, but I added it because it is an anime-only card. I don't know, do you guys even think that this would be broken? I know it banishes all monsters from your deck and hand, but I'm thinking that more likely you guys could probably use that to make it broken, if you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's super broken from like a Dark Magician standpoint, unless there's other support that I'm unaware of. I guess you can like bring back some of the cards. I'm sure that it's still broken at the end of the day because with the banishing of everything, I'm sure someone will figure something out. Anyways, next up, Cards of Demise. Again, this is the anime effect, different than the original, but you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand, and then during your 5th standby phase, after activation, send all cards in your hand to the graveyard. But you guys know how Yu-Gi-Oh is. You more likely just use all the cards, or you wouldn't even make it till like turn 2 because the game's real fast. Broken in the anime version. Next up, Illusion Gate. Normal spell card says destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field. After, select 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon to your side of the field, ignoring the summoning conditions. At the end of this turn, your life points are reduced by 90%. Kind of strange. It's like a percentage. I'm bad at math, so you know I would have a tough time with this card. But it doesn't really matter because if you're going to blow up everything and the monster reborn and it ignores your summoning condition, this card definitely, I think this card would definitely be in our top 10. If we do it a top 10 of the most broken cards, this one will definitely be there. At least that's the way I see it. Anyways, next up, A really cool card. I didn't even know they made this card. It hurts my eyes to look at it because apparently it was in, I'm guessing, like a TV show. Like that artwork though, it has the lines in it. Hurts my eyes. But anyways, Chaos and Ruler, really of the beginning and end. So it's like a BLS monster. Anyways, so it cannot be normal summon set. Really simple. It's basically like a Blacklist Soldier Chaos Sorcerer. So anyways, you move, but it's specific. It requires a Light Warrior in a Dark Fiend type from your graveyard, and then when it's special summoned, cards and effects can't be activated. So it's free to go through, and then you can pay 1,000 life points and banish all cards from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. Then you burn for 500 for each, and usually that'd just be game. It also has decent attack though, it's 3,500, but this is definitely an insane card. I mean, if your opponent has played, you know, just 1 or 2 turns in Yu-Gi-Oh, you guys know people cycle through cards really fast, and all they would need is 16 cards, either in the graveyard, in hand, or hand, field, and graveyard. So that's definitely doable, especially if you're playing against like someone who's like grass is greener. This card just eats them alive, but no one plays that because it's that one now, Konami. Anyways, Card of Sanctity, again, the anime effect. Each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand. I mean, technically, if your opponent is, you know, going second, they're only going to draw 1, and you can potentially draw 6. Really insane card. Next up, the Card of Desperation. You draw 3 cards from their deck, and then you send the rest of your deck to the graveyard. Just bam, your whole deck's on the graveyard. Infernoids, let's go. But technically, I know some people will be like, well, then you just deck out. Yeah, true, that is true, but more likely you just win in that turn anyways. On top of that, there's another broken card. It's called Disgraceful Charity. And I was like, what the heck is this thing? But anyways, it's a trap card that says both players add all cards from their graveyard that were discarded by the effect of a spell card activated this turn to their hand. So, Dark Worlds, oh my gosh, that would be crazy. You just add a bunch of those cards back to your hand. Really insane stuff. And then lastly, I think this was like #1 most broken. I don't know if it's actually a card. It was shown in the anime, and apparently it renders the victim unconscious. Like it destroys your opponent. Like not in the game, but in like real life. I think Mind Crush, the anime version, or I think it was Collapse of the Heart, Mind Crush penalty game. I don't know, but I saw a video. I played the video, but you guys know, like, I don't want to get like a copyright strike because it'd be playing it like the anime video. But nonetheless, it renders the victim unconscious. So I think that has to be like the #1 spot, because if your opponent is unconscious, I'm pretty sure you win the duel. I don't know, man. That is probably one of the craziest cards. They're sure the anime. I think they have it from like the manga, but it was apparently also in the anime. Apparently, like he tried to kill Yugi in the TV show in something, a theme park. But nonetheless, yeah, I think Mind Crush is the most broken card. I don't know, like when I watched the video again, he didn't pull out a card, so there wasn't a screenshot. But I saw the aftermath, kind of didn't look like it was too good after that. But anyways, boys, that was a list of some of the most broken Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are from the anime. Obviously, some of these cards, they have different effects because they watered them down for the actual game. But like I said, guys, there's probably a bunch of new cards, so we could definitely do a part 2. I would love to make a top 10, but again, I didn't want to make this a top 10 because I didn't know of all the cards. These are some of the ones that we put together and we were talking about, and these are the ones that I found. And anyways, if you guys felt like I missed out on any, let me know. And also, if you guys want to make a top 10 list, I'm definitely down. Let me know, guys, if you guys like have a top 10. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that this card has to be a #1 spot. Mind Crush, the penalty game, Fraud the Jam should have been on the list too, definitely. But anyways, boys, that's it for the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the vid. If you guys wanted me to do more of these like crazy Yu-Gi-Oh videos where we go over the most like insane stuff, drop a like on the video. And anyways, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more Yu-Gi-Oh content.